All right. Hey, everybody, it's SVG, and today we have the Friday AI Roundup for August 28th, 2026. So, without further ado, we'll get right into it. The first thing that I am reading is a piece by Calvin French Owen, who is a former employee of OpenAI, talking about smaller models, right? And this idea that maybe the frontier models of AI might be overkill for what you need. So, they believe that this revolution might be coming in which you can use something that works for you, right, on a more micro scale, which I think will be cool. So that's one thing that I think is really interesting in terms of where the puck is headed in AI. The next article that I've got open is from our friends at the BBC. So they talk about this idea of time is running out for cybersecurity, right? Group of 100 firms, including Google, Microsoft, Anthropic, OpenAI, have signed an open letter calling on countries to beef up their cyber defenses before AI grows too powerful to, or more powerful to override them, right? I think this is an interesting article. This maybe adds to some of the AI doom and gloom that's out there, but it's definitely an interesting look at what's going on and what these companies are thinking about. So something I'm going to bring up with the class as it's going into um, talking about how and where and why we want to be cautious with our use of AI. So that's something else to check out if you are interested in that. Another piece that I found was from The Atlantic, where they're talking about this idea around a turning point in AI writing, perhaps. The story goes that there was this guy, Stanley Druckenmiller, who is a billionaire investor, and he sent in an op-ed into the Wall Street Journal criticizing the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. The interesting thing about this op-ed was that it was entirely AI generated. And when called out on it, Stanley Druckenmiller says, yeah, I use AI to write everything, and you should too. Which I think is just a really interesting stance to take on that. So this is definitely going to be brought up in my AI class around ethics and who's right, who's wrong, where's the gray area, how does this work exactly? Again, Stanley Druckenmiller compares this to the fact that he uses a calculator to do math now, and he should essentially do that. And then also I think the editor of the Wall Street Journal also defended it and said, yeah, you should. In fact, yeah, Paul Gigot, AI is a fact of modern life, right? So where and when and why and how you get into places like this. And again, when I talk about this with students, I often say like, well, what prompts did you put in to get the op-ed, right? Like that's what I want to know in this piece. It's like wonder what Stanley Druckenmiller used to actually make his op-ed along the way. So that's something worth reading, I think, this week from The Atlantic. I've got it here on the archive link in case you need it there. Another thing that I've been listening to is the uh, Everyday AI podcast. This one was really, really good. So they're going back through their archive in terms of back to the beginning of where they all started with their program and some of the thoughts that they had and revamping them for the here and now. This one's really interesting because it's talking about this concept of context engineering versus prompt engineering. Prompt engineering used to be all the rage in how they were, talking about how you're going to get better information out of these AI systems. But context engineering has maybe evolved to where prompt engineering was in terms of how do we give the tools context because they're getting much better at understanding us and understanding the language that we've put in before. So now we don't need to give it as much prompt engineering and we need to give it more context engineering. So a really great episode there. Quick listen, 37 minutes, great for a uh, commute if you have one. All right, and then the last article, again from the shopper marketing world more so than the AI world. From The Economist, how Shein came crashing down. So again, it was the story of Shein, which is a fast fashion, algorithmic driven Chinese clothing brand. And it really does a good job of chronicling out like where they thought they were going to go right and then where it ended up going wrong. So this is more of a general cautionary tale and maybe a case study to look at for my more general business classes in terms of how you think you have a competitive advantage, and then all of a sudden your competitors catch up, or government changes, or something happens to where the thing that you were building your business on no longer comes to life for you. So, those are the 5 things I checked out this week. I hope you enjoy them. And if you have any questions, or if you have something that you've read that you want to share with me, please let me know. I'd love to see it. Thanks.